Yo, what's going on with y'all boys, man? Welcome back to another video. And if you're new here, welcome. You know what I'm saying? I'm just hopping on here real quick just to talk about the AJ Brown trade. And if you all don't know, AJ Brown has been traded to the New England Patriots for a first-round pick. My first initial reaction was, I definitely like the trade for both sides. You know what I'm saying? Because now, given that AJ Brown had a lot of drama going on with Philadelphia, and people creating rumors with Jalen Hurts. Then you had people trying to, clash Devontae Smith and AJ Brown because there was times where Devontae Smith wasn't getting his touches. You know what I'm saying? So I think from that aspect of getting rid of the drama between him and the organization, I think it frees up, the Eagles' offense a little bit. But I think for the Patriots, I also like this trade. But one thing I will say is that I don't really see this moving the needle. You know what I'm saying? And it has nothing to do with AJ Brown's talent or saying that he's bad. AJ Brown is still one of the best receivers in the league. And I think it has everything to do with just the expectations of the Patriots already and what they've already done so far. You know what I'm saying? Just everything to do with where the Patriots organization is now. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're in a situation where as long as they keep Drake May and their core together, they really can't do anything wrong. You know what I'm saying? And basically every move besides getting rid of people is your best move. You know what I'm saying? They're in a situation where they can literally just keep building and just keep getting better. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, I think the Patriots is one of the few organizations where there really is no expectation. No major expectation like Super Bowl or not. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're coming off a season where it was supposed to be a rebuild, but they ended up making a Super Bowl in one of the most surprising Super Bowl appearances in history. One of the quickest, Super Bowl appearances in history, coming from a rebuild the year before to Super Bowl the next year. I just think that creates a sense of just, I don't know. Ultimately, it puts the Patriots in a weird situation where, like I said, they can't do anything wrong. In all honesty, there's really no direction to really go in if you're the Patriots. You won last year with not having a dominant wide receiver one. You know what I'm saying? Basically, leaning on your defense, but now you basically kept your core together on the defensive side and reloaded on offense. You know what I'm saying? So you could say the expectation is Super Bowl. I just think given last year that the expectation was a rebuild and they made the Super Bowl, it's kind of hard to put them in a situation where now you're expecting Super Bowl or bust. Just given that they're in that weird situation where you really just don't know. You know what I'm saying? They have talent, but it was a lot of things last year that went right for them. You could say luck, you know what I'm saying, with Bo Nix getting injured, them having an easy schedule and them capitalizing on top of that. But now that they made the Super Bowl and was a division leader, now they have a harder schedule, which takes it out of perspective of, do we expect them to rebound and have a similar season to like they did last year, or do we expect them to face more struggles compared to what they did last year? Because ultimately they have a harder schedule. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was just a lot of things last year that went right for them that lining up is looking like it might not go right this season. It's just, I think New England, they're just in a situation where they're directly in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Either they can go back to rebuild or they can push forward towards being a legit Super Bowl contender. And ultimately, I don't really see this trade in particular, moving the needle. I just think it shortens the range of being really bad or being really good. You know what I'm saying? And they're pushing it towards being really good, but it's still kind of in that middle range of just, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because they benefited from an easy schedule, but they also, had something really good going on. And even in the Super Bowl, they had some highlights where they showed that they somewhat belong, even though they got blown out by the Seattle Seahawks. But that's a whole nother thing. But they still shown some competitiveness. This season is kind of like, do I expect more of the good or do I expect more of the bad? Are they going to struggle from having a hard schedule, or are they going to basically, live up to the hype? It's kind of a hard situation. You know what I'm saying? Because now they're supposed to be a legit Super Bowl contender, but because of how things lined up and how you can say they got lucky on some ends, it can kind of blur the lines between the two. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, on paper, they're looking like a legitimate team. But we'll see if last year was a flaw or they were just getting started. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely kind of hard to really tell where they are as an organization because of things happen so quickly. Because usually what rebuilds is step by step. You know what I'm saying? You go from being bad to, okay, you're being competitive, still trying to figure out to win, still trying to figure out how to win. You're figuring out how to win, you're winning some, you're losing some, 50-50, to now you're making the playoffs and then Super Bowl. But they literally jump from worst to first. You know what I'm saying? So that leaves the range of just the possibilities open. You know what I'm saying? A wide range of possibilities that can possibly happen. Because they can either, fall back and go back to the expectations that was set for them last year, or they could keep falling forward into, being a legit contender. It just the range is just wide open for them. But on paper, based off last season and what they've added, it's looking like it's, Super Bowl. It's looking like it's playoffs. But I just think this trade in particular it's not going to be the one that moves the needle for them to be that. I think a lot of other stuff has to happen in order for them to get back to the Super Bowl, or to really view themselves as a legit contender. You know what I'm saying? Like, can their defense, for example, play up to the same standard that they played before? Because their defense was playing lights out. You know what I'm saying? Historically well. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this trade comes into fruition. But my first initial reaction was, I don't really see it moving the needle. Y'all let me know down below what you think. Are they a Super Bowl contender, or are they just a mediocre team, or do you see them having a failed season compared to what they did last year? Y'all let me know. But yeah, I'll catch you on the next one.